Sometimes we all wish we can be in more than one place at once. In the world of the Transformers, some characters can do just that. From Skylinks, the Duocons, and even Armada Tidal Wave, these Transformers can all separate into multiple components. But the first one portrayed in fiction is zooming in to observe today's discussion. He is none other than the Decepticon spy, Reflector.
You did well, Reflector! And I always...
Takara's micro-change toy line consisted of robots that transform into regular everyday objects, such as a wristwatch, a cassette player, and even toy guns. The line's camera robo-microcs transformed from a non-working camera into 3 distinctly different robots. Like many of the toys from both Diaclone and Microchange, this camera was planned to be a part of the initial lineup of Transformers in 1984 as the Decepticon Reflector, and he would have fit right in, since the number of Autobots vastly outnumbered the Decepticons. But for some reason, his toy was not released on retail shelves in Hasbro markets. He was released in Japan, however, in 1985. In the Marvel Comics, Reflector only appeared once in the 4th issue. 3 bots that resemble him are seen repairing other Decepticons, but they are not named. Also, what appears to be the center robot can be seen among the fallen Decepticons at the end of the issue. The series Bible for the cartoon does reveal that Reflector is a single entity that exists as 3 robots that speak together and merge into a single camera.
Let's find out! Okay, Reflector. Let's see what you can see.
Voiced by Chris Latta, Reflector acts as a Decepticon spy, able to gather information in camera mode from large distances.
There, that was the last bit of info I needed. Stealing the antimatter formula is gonna be a piece of oil.
The center unit of Reflector that has the lens in camera mode can use the shutter as a flash weapon that can temporarily blind Autobots in battle. Because he was 3 distinct robots, Reflector could function with each robot assigned to a different task, but he was always considered one individual.
Data gathering complete, Reflector. Then let's go, Soundwave. Megatron awaits our report.
In the More Than Meets the Eye pilot, numerous generic Decepticon seekers filled the ranks of the Decepticons to make their army much larger than the toy line. In addition, group shots of the Decepticons would sometimes include more than 3 Reflector bots. This was actually a leftover from the script stage about how the character was initially conceptualized to be portrayed. The initial idea was that Reflector was intended to be one robot, the center one with the camera lens, who splits himself into numerous copies of himself that can act independently, but all operate as a single hive mind. These duplicated Reflector bots can re-merge back into a single robot. The only time this was ever seen was in the episode Divide and Conquer. While battling the Autobots, Blue Streak blasts each Reflector bot until they all merge into one before being knocked down. This might also explain the extra 4th Reflector that gets forced to pilot a transport vehicle full of Energon earlier in the episode. The script simply called for a generic Decepticon, but the animators chose to make him another Reflector instead, even though he's voiced by Hound's voice actor, Ken Sansom.
No! Please! Not me! No!
Say hi to the old gang on Cybertron!
Shockwave to Megatron. Energon cubes received.
While Reflector was released in Japan at regular retail, Hasbro chose not to release him in their markets on the toy shelves. Because of this, the cartoon writers were instructed not to use the character as his toy was discontinued. But this didn't stop Reflector from appearing as a background character throughout Season 2 of the cartoon, and he was also present at the Battle of Autobot City in Transformers the movie. While Reflector was not present in Season 3, the IDW movie adaptation attempted in trying to give us the reason why. When Unicron attacks Cybertron, There is an added scene where Unicron is seen eating Shockwave, the Conehead Decepticons, and of course, Reflector. However, the Conehead Decepticons did appear in Season 3 with speaking roles.
Death comes to he who crosses the line. Yeah, well, death comes to us if we don't cruise out here and get to each other.
Also, in storyboards, generic Decepticons were stated to be the identities of the two that are seen dropping into the vat of acid later on in the film. It's most likely that Shockwave and Reflector survived the Chaos Bringer's assault. In 1986, Reflector's toy finally saw a release through Hasbro's mail-away program known as Stars. With the promotional material, the individual Reflector robots were given the names of Spectro, Spyglass, and Viewfinder, and they merged to form the Reflector camera. However, like he is portrayed in fiction, Reflector's tech spec describes him as a single individual. Even his decoy that was packaged with smaller Transformers in 1987 uses a single bot, the center one, as the individual Reflector. However, it was the Dreamwave comics that chose to give separate profiles for each of the three Reflector robots, and they were seen working together as Shockwave security on Cybertron. In the IDW comics, Reflector first appeared on Earth alongside Megatron's troops, with each robot speaking in unison like he was portrayed in the G1 cartoon. As the comic continued, however, the individuals began acting independently with no explanation, even referring to themselves as the Reflectors. They were sent on a mission by Shockwave to steal a time-traveling ship that ended up sending them 100 years into the past. The ship crash-landed on the planet LV-117, which killed Viewfinder. Spyglass and Spectro captured a small alien named Varda until Wheelie set him free. The two found a ship and worked on it to try and escape the planet. Right when Wheelie had used his energon converter to power the ship and start its launch sequence, Spyglass and Spectro found them, taking Varda captive. In exchange for the small alien's life, Wheelie let Spectro and Spyglass steal the ship from them. However, Wheelie took the safety cache from his energon converter, which caused the ship to explode, killing the last two parts of Reflector. While Reflector has not made any appearances outside of his G1 self in any other cartoons, he did appear briefly in the Shattered Glass universe. He was also meant to appear in Transformers Animated before the show was ultimately cancelled. A new Reflector toy was made as a small accessory bot for the Decepticon Shrapnel, named Scrapnel for trademark reasons, during the Generation's Thrilling 30 lineup. The small robot mode resembled Viewfinder and transformed into his familiar camera mode. He also transformed into a weapon that the Decepticon could use. A trio of Reflector bots were given away as an exclusive souvenir for BotCon in 2016. These were simply remolds of Combiner Wars Shockwave, transforming into space guns that any Combiner could use. The bio stated that after Viewfinder's death, Spectro and Spyglass found their conscious fragmented. G-Axis reformatted them, but because the trio was exposed to contaminated soil, Viewfinder was brought back to life and reformatted as well. While the toys were not meant to have the three combined into a camera, it didn't stop fans from trying to make versions of their own. After so many years of being left out of Transformers media, Hasbro is finally releasing a new Reflector toy for the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy's Siege toy line. Renamed Refractor for trademark reasons, this new toy, much like his BotCon exclusive mold, transforms into an artillery hovercraft. However, if you buy 3 Refractor toys, they can merge to form a camera, just like his G1 counterpart. With his new toy, it's possible we might see Reflector show up in the new War for Cybertron cartoon, set to air next year on Netflix, and IDW's new comic book reboot. The real question will be, of course, if Reflector will be portrayed as a single individual split into 3, or if Spectro, Spyglass, and Viewfinder act more like individual Decepticons. Until then, we'll just have to zoom in when and if this observant Decepticon returns.
Reflector to Megatron! I have it in my sights and will maintain watch until your arrival.
But what do you think? Should Reflector be a single Decepticon split into 3? Or should the bots themselves be individuals?
You can't hit all of us at once, actually.
Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. I'd like to thank my patrons for your support. I have many more Transformers videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
Energon cubes secured, leader. Excellent. What about the flesh creature, Dr. Arkadale?
He is of no further use to me.